going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones, giving you a drop of sun any chance I get. And today we're going to be reacting to an album from Steve Lacy called Gemini Rights. Once again, we have an artist that I'm not too familiar with. I know that Steve is a part of a band called The Internet who have pumped out several albums and singles, one of which even received a Grammy nomination. He's also branched out into his own solo projects, including Apollo 21. I just listened to it last night. I was just blown away by what I had listened to. He incorporates a lot of funk, neo-soul, and alternative R&B to really make a sound of his own. This year, he had a massive breakthrough when his single Bad Habit became a top 40 smash, currently sitting at number 6 on the Hot 100. This dude is on an absolute roll at the moment. And with this brand new album, he's garnering a ton of new listeners. With his recent rise in success, now seems to be a better time than ever to give it a listen. And with that, time to get into Gemini Rights. Track number 1, Static. Very gentle piano going on right now. Drugs is what he's talking about, I assume. I hope I'm impressing you with my musical abilities. Yeah, I tried men. They ain't working out too well for me. There's so much blues in this instrumental right now, this vocal performance. Okay, so that was Static. Quite the interesting track to open up the album with. It seems to be a song where Steve is trying to convince this girl to hook up with him and sort of like leave her not so very impressive boyfriend. I love how his bisexuality is shining through in the lyrics. I'm so over boys. I need to hook up with a girl now. I'm feeling girls at the moment. But yeah, his confidence is very much shining through on this track, and he's really making a move. I also love that haunting vocal outro that he had going on, and you could really hear the guitar strumming. Like, he's already showing off how expertly he can play that thing. It's a very fascinating song, and it's a great way to set up the tone for the record. Track number 2, Helmet. I love that percussion. It's sort of like a tambourine of some kind. Oh, we got a serious breakup, I'm assuming? And once again, he's rocking the guitar. Woo! Woo! Holding that damn note for like 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm protecting myself for any like emotional damage that can come at me. Ooh, and there's a touch of piano going on. It's escalating with the high pitches. Okay, so that was Helmet, and I think I really like that song. Steve is opening up about this relationship that went horribly wrong, and now he sort of is telling his ex, or soon-to-be ex, that she needs to get the hell out. Or he. I understand that he's bisexual. We speak the language after all. And the helmet is symbolizing how he's preparing himself for any other heartbreak he could experience further down the road. This song had a lot of funk going on with it. You know, it has that sort of dancey groove to it. He really knows how to falsetto, let his vocals fly, and the guitar, of course, he really knows how to show off. There's also a real classic feeling to it, something you could hear back in the 70s when you're on the dance floor, like maybe like something out of Motown. I'm very curious to know who exactly Steve Lacy's influences are, because whatever he was listening to back in the day, it's really shining through in his production. Track number 3, Mercury. Trying to change the radio, I believe. Finding the right channel. Woo! And this one really does want to make you get up and dance. Yeah, try not to fall into love too fast, the kids. Oh, that is a great line. Like, that's something I need to think about. Lesson learned, but the truth gets old. Ooh! Ooh! This bossa nova production is really making me groove in my swivel chair. Now he experiments with auto-tune. He's fucking T-Pain right now. He really wants to build that deep connection again that he may have lost. Oh, now we're bringing in that fucking trumpet. The brass section, let's go. Woo. It's so haunting with its post-chorus. Like, it's just so scary for him to just fall out of this relationship. Alright, so that was Mercury. I had a lot of fun with that one. It relies heavily on this bossa nova production, which is sort of like meant to contrast with the sadness of Steve's lyrics. Steve is falling out of touch with this loved one that he really cherished, and he really wants to win her back. But the demons are all running amok in his head, probably because of the influence of his dad. And now he's just here wallowing in his own depression and sorrow because he really sort of fucked up this connection with this lover. And it's very impressive because there's something so haunting about the way the vocal delivery takes place and how much they like really hit those high notes and how Steve just belts out those lyrics. It very much sounds like a cry for help, like he's just unleashing his anguish, just begging for someone to help him. There's so much desperation in the way he sings, and you could really sense the sadness that he's just stewing in. This track is a real highlight for me so far. I am very much impressed with this one. Track number 4, Buttons. The 70s vibe is really shining through here. A much slower tempo we got going on here. Sounding like a very intimate experience. Ooh, I hear the descending piano in the background. I love that metaphor. It's sort of like you took control of me and then you just drained me of all my energy. Now we just have the epic outro that I'm sure is glorious at live shows. Okay, so that was Buttons, and yeah, I think that one is pretty interesting. Steve is talking about this relationship that he's sort of beginning with this girl or this boy or someone of that gender. He's opening up to them, presumably in his own bedroom, and they sort of have this night of glorious love, or love making if you prefer. But then he finds himself being taken advantage of, and he finds himself being hurt and stressed out, and now he's sort of like trapped in this toxic romance that is just weighing on him like a brick. The slow tempo would lead you to believe that this is very romantic and sensual, but then as the production becomes more bombastic and intricate, you really sense the chaos that's just surrounding Steve. I love how he constructed the production that way, and it's a neat little trick to show his listeners just how much of a burden this romance has become for him. Track number 5, Bad Habit. Hell yeah, baby! We get to listen to the hit single now. I wish I knew. I find myself singing this line to myself all the time. I love the drumming on this song. It's just very distinct and clear. Like, don't play with my heart like that, baby. Like, that just ain't fair for me. I love the juxtaposition right there with the line about tongues. And then the backup cuts out, and then we just focus on him. It's so brilliant. It's sort of like you're right there in the moment with him, just close, face to face, really soaking in the intimacy. I love how he compares their love and their feelings of romance to biscuits and gravy, because it's like so delicious. Okay, so that was Bad Habit, and I am very much of a fan of that song. It's just so joyous in the way it's composed, in the way it's sung, in the way it's played. Steve is just bursting with life at the realization that this person he's been close with had romantic feelings for him, and now he's just jumping with joy. And now he's just hoping that the person in question hasn't moved on and found a new person to date, because he very much would love to make that relationship work. So many neat little production choices, like cutting out all the backing vocals and we just focus on his voice specifically. The instrumental towards the end, which really helps you get up and dance. It's a song that really does make you feel good, and I'm very thrilled that it's in the top 10 right now on the Hot 100. You go, Steve. Track number 6, Together, Interlude. It's very dreamlike in its atmosphere. And we have the blending of the vocals. Okay, so that was Together. Nothing too much to comment on there. It's just a little instrumental that they had right in the middle of the record. There is something very cosmic about it, you know, with twinkling hearts, twinkling stars even. It's like they're on a rocket to the moon and nothing can stop them now. But yeah, just a simple instrumental, so we can move on here. Track number 7, Cody Freestyle. It appears that we got a synth being played right now. Yeah, sometimes that fluttery feeling just evaporates into thin air. Seems like he only wants this relationship for, you know, sexual intimacy. Ooh, damn. Getting a little cold-hearted there, aren't you, Steve? He's scared of commitment. Seems that he doesn't want to put a ring on it, if you know what I mean. And this one absolutely has a cosmic feel to it, like you're floating in space. Now this I expect to be spectacular at live shows. Okay, so that was Cody Freestyle, and yeah, that one I think really does a great job at standing out from the other tunes. Here we got Steve singing to presumably his boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, saying that he wants some distance between the two of them. He seems to be a lot more blunt and honest with his lyrical content. He's saying that this boyfriend was only good for sexual intimacy, you know, he's only good at giving head and not really giving his heart. There was never a ton of substance in the relationship, and as a result, they should probably just break apart from each other. In a lot of ways, the spacious atmosphere could symbolize how they're sort of floating away, like they're now worlds away from each other, and that they can't seem to like really reach a point of union. You really feel that the relationship is just drifting away from the two of them, and now they are practically strangers to each other. And I'm also gonna take a wild bet that Cody is the name of the boyfriend that Steve is singing to. Hey, I could be wrong. People can correct me. You're free to do so in the comments, but that's just my theory. Track number 8, Amber. Ooh, I'm digging the cymbal work. Very clear and projective. Oh, it sounds like it's a romance full of tragedy. Once again, we seem to have a lot of blues going on within the production, the composition. Oh my god, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Love the touch of piano he's got going on. I bet next Saturday never happened. Ooh, and the shredding of the guitar. So fucking sexy. Like, this guitar riff has sex appeal. Okay, so that was Amber, and that one, very sad. Steve is just so heartbroken over this relationship that just fell apart, and now he's sort of thinking about what could have happened if they never met each other. He's wishing that he had never met this person so that he would never have to deal with the devastating fallout. And that melancholy is deeply reflected in the production, with the haunting, elevating vocals, especially on the first time they sang "I Wish I Never Met You No More." Like, that caught me off guard a little. The guitar shredding, of course, is just expertly done, and I really love the drum work on this as well. And yeah, it's a very well constructed track, and I think he should be proud of it. Track number 9, Sunshine, featuring Fauché. Ooh, these drums are building up a little bit. The little falsetto he hits right there. Ooh, she's got some very nice vocals going on here. Love him. Presumably they live in the same city, so they're always going to encounter each other in some way and be reminded of the relationship. It's sort of like she's sort of trying to move on while he isn't. That's what I'm getting from this verse. It's so bittersweet in its sound. Like, they sort of know that this relationship is over, but they can't help but talk to each other. And now we have the admission of feelings. They are not over each other. And now we have Steve admitting his own feelings himself. Yo, Sunshine. I fucking dig that one. Steve Lacy and Fouché are playing these two opposite lovers who encountered each other in the park, and they're sort of reflecting on their romance and how they're trying to move on, but really just can't break their feelings for each other. They have a lot of good memories, and they sort of gravitate to the other. And hopefully they could rekindle their romance and just give it another try. Steve appears to be a lot more open about wanting to get back together and giving this another try, while Fouché seems to be sort of in denial about everything that happened. And then on that outro, we finally see her say, I still love you, and I still want to sort of get back together with you. Like I said before, there's a real bittersweet feeling to it, especially during that outro where they're playing the guitar, the electric guitar, and they're just really laying out their feelings for each other, just repeating them over and over again until they stick in their brains. It's reflective in its nature, and for anyone who has broken off things with a previous lover but wants to rekindle the romance and give it another try, I think they can find this very relatable. It kind of has me sad in the feels a little bit, and I appreciate what he has going on here. And now it's time to get on to the finale song. Track number 10, Give You the World. I like this slick production. It sort of reminds me of Redbone in a way. That's a romantic line. Shit, I might have time forever. For you, specifically. That vocal delivery is just so charismatic. He's just laying on that charm. His willingness to be open, I dig that. He's just making this very sensual and just so inviting. We're just relaxing in the sun and all of its glory and all of its brightness and its magnitude. Oh, he knows how to hit those vocals. Let's go. He's gonna try a lot harder this time, even though the passion has died a little. Okay, so that was Give You the World, and I was very impressed with that one. It's sort of framed like a love jam, like they're about to like jump into bed with each other and like have a fun night. But then on the second verse, it sort of like takes a little bit of a turn, and you realize that this is Steve begging for his lover to come back to him and sort of give him a second chance. And he's making all these promises that the love isn't gonna fall apart or evaporate like it did before. This time they're gonna build something very sustainable and it'll last for a long, long time. This soft crooning composition is sort of him trying to offer his lover that feeling of satisfaction that he promises he can give. He's really playing into the sensuality and softness, you know, whether it be the high-pitched vocals or the crooning guitar or the backing vocals that really like give that vocal delivery an extra kick. And it sort of plays off of Sunshine, where the two ex-lovers are reflecting on their romance and thinking about giving it one last try. And you can really sense the hopefulness in that final outro where Steve is singing, I'm not gonna give up on you this time, I'm gonna make it work. And it really feels like this person is gonna give him one last chance, and he will make a big impression on them. It's a very powerful note to leave off on, and I'm very impressed with Steve Lacy in that regard. On that note, I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna listen to the album a second time, then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts, so bear with me. Alright, I am back and I'm ready to give you my final thoughts on Steve Lacy's Gemini Rights. After listening to this album thoroughly, I think I found myself a new favorite artist. This guy has a certain charisma that just makes him a force to be reckoned with in the R&B genre. He brings in a ton of retro funk that feels like it's from the 70s, while adding in an alternative touch that makes it perfect for the current age. And yes, I very much sense this as a breakup album. Steve appears to have gone through some lovers that he really struggled to build a connection with. Some partners, like on Helmet and Buttons just straight up took advantage of him, while other tunes like Mercury and Cody Freestyle showed that he just didn't have the right communication skills and the love just fell through. The production superbly illustrates the pain that Steve is harboring in his soul. The descending pianos, the cosmic synths, the sharp drums, and his signature electric guitar paint the picture of a heartbroken man looking to mend himself. The production is very comforting in many areas, but you can feel the melancholy break through as he's unleashing it onto the listener. That's incredibly apparent when he's belting his voice on Amber. I also have to give credit to Fushi for occasionally swooping in to play the opposite lover to Steve's insecure character and show a different perspective. Finally, to answer the question of why it's called Gemini Rights, I think it's supposed to lay out the flaws of Steve that constantly interfere with his love life. Geminis, according to astrology, are supposed to be extroverted and clever, but they also come off as indecisive, impulsive, and unreliable, and those traits definitely pop up throughout the record. He understands the cracks in his persona, but he's looking to repair them in order to build a healthy love life. It's crazy that this guy has been in music for many years, because the fact that his top 40 breakthrough was only this year is a crime against music. Especially since he produced what I consider to be an album of the year worthy contender. You guessed it, I'm giving Gemini Rights a 10 out of 10. Not gonna reveal my favorite and least favorite tracks because it is not worth doing this time. Steve, I'm rooting for you to win some great Grammys. And with that, I think we're just about done for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching this album reaction. I had so much fun with this one. You should definitely check it out for yourselves. You will have a blast. I guarantee it. If you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Twitter, my Twitch, and my TikTok. The links are going to be in the description. And that is where we're signing off. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you were able to soak up those drops. Take care.